Be ready to rock and roll, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be fabulous. So, this is the countdown in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome, everybody. This is Fabulous with Fabio in this YouTube channel, Fabio Marques 007, Fabio Marques 007. Fabulous with Fabio is the talk show that can show you how fabulous you can be by being inspired by fabulous guests on my show. You can also listen to this interview later in our podcast, Powerful Insights for Business. Listen, this is raw. There's no post-production, no editing, no cutting. This is raw and authentic as life is. And I only invite guests that I know can handle this kind of situation. My guest today is simply fabulous. How to overcome fear, how to use mindfulness to really live a life on the edge and be wonderful and learn everything you want by really focusing on your strengths. So let's not talk about this now, because this gentleman is going to explain to us how we can accomplish this and much, much more. Welcome, everybody. Brett Solomano. How are you, Brett?
Doing great, Fabio. Doing great. Thanks for having me, mate. It's
Man,
great
you're
to
very
be here.
welcome, because I know my audience is going to love you because
Good, good.
yeah, you have so many stories to share. And let's start right in. You have a Guinness World Record. Let's talk about that just for a second, just to give a glimpse of what they can expect from this conversation. What is this world record about?
Absolutely, mate. Yeah, yeah. So, and it's actually funny you mentioned it. It's right here, right behind me. I don't know if you can read it, but yeah, the I do have a Guinness World Record. It's for the longest distance reversing a tractor trailer or semi-trailer, semi-trailer, depending on where you are in the world. And that was 55 and a third miles, or 89 kilometers, in about 4 hours. And you might be thinking, well, what drives, no pun intended, what drives someone to want to do something like that? For me, it's I love a mental challenge. For me, I started growing up in Australia, playing computer games and watching a lot of movies.
Mm,
And there was sort of an escapism there. There was a little bit of an addiction, perhaps, as well, maybe running away from my childhood a little bit. But at the same time, I was very captivated by the art. And art can be very inspiring, exciting, and motivational as well. And I love that, the idea that movies and TV shows can do that. So maybe we can talk a bit more about it later on. But um, long story short, I wanted to become a stuntman and a stunt driver, in particular in movies and TV shows. And how do you get into that? You kind of have to just follow your gut and follow your path. You have to just meet people and surround yourself with people who are doing that. There is no, Indeed post or LinkedIn post for a stuntman. It's very much who you know, and what you know, and getting in with the right people. And I grew up in Australia, in country Australia, and moved to Melbourne in Australia, one of the largest cities, and then moved to Los Angeles, and then now Atlanta, where there's a big film industry here as well, although it's a little bit quiet with the strikes and different things going on right now. But yeah, I would always just soak up these driving jobs. And these driving jobs would be driving like this double-decker bus, this Lego double-decker bus. That's one of my first buses that I drove back 10 or 15 years ago now. And I just love the technical challenge of driving different vehicles, old vehicles, new vehicles, fast vehicles, slow vehicles, trucks, buses, whatever. And my mentor would encourage that in me and just give me little tips on how to drive these different things to be able to be versatile for film. And then, I'd take up these different jobs between film jobs as a way to get paid to practice, right?
right.
And one of the jobs was a CDL instructor job, or instructing people how to drive large trucks here in the US. And we were showing off to the students one day about how quickly we could back into the box, because that's what we teach them, is to pass their test, to back that trailer in the box. And they said they couldn't do it. And we said, no, no, it's definitely possible. And we'd sort of start showing off. And then one thing leads to another, and we're driving these trucks a little bit quicker than we'd driven before. And I kept pushing myself, and I realized I could actually physically get this truck up to 25 miles or 40 kilometers an hour in reverse. And then one thing leads to another. This is kind of how my brain works, is okay, how far can I drive this thing in reverse at high speed? You know, I'm always thinking about what's next, what's next. So I look up the Guinness World Record, and it's like 39 miles or something like that. And then a couple of years later, lots of planning. You know, you got to find a space that's going to let you back something so big for so long. You can't just do it on the highway, of course. And maybe I get a police escort. And you know, the driving was a beautiful challenge, but just logistically finding all the people and timekeepers and different things like that. And so yeah, in September 30, 2020, we did the world record to raise awareness for Distracted Driving Awareness Month. And that was a beautiful challenge. So 55 miles, it's about 14 miles an hour in reverse on average for 4 hours, you know. I can't run the fastest. You know, I'm physically fit, but I don't have many skills in that direction, but I do have the interest and the passion for driving, and it was just a beautiful challenge for me to do that. So
You know,
yeah.
yeah, there are so many important lessons in this short story that is shared. You know, mental challenge. You know, the first, thing you said, mental challenge. We need to be able to challenge ourselves mentally, and this is so healthy because if we don't do that, we're going to be too comfortable, right? And we're not going to accomplish what we can. So this is the first lesson. We should be always trying to find things that will challenge ourselves mentally. This is one. Another one is driving. You said driving different kinds of vehicles, so you have to study and practice and so on. And this relates to driving our lives. We have so
Yep.
many aspects of our lives that we should be driving, right? Instead of just observing. And again, we can learn from your story that if you want to drive your life to different directions to do something great, you need to study and practice and surround yourself with the right people, with the right mentors to really help you get where you want to be, right?
Absolutely, yeah. And it's the other thing that I love to share is, like, you know, people want to know, like, well, didn't you get a sore head? Like, didn't you get tired? Whatever. And there's a beautiful gift that I learned during that, Fabio, that I didn't realize I was going to learn. I was using my left-hand mirror, my driver's side mirror here in the US. So I didn't get too much of a sore neck or anything like that. But how I was able to keep myself focused for 4 hours, because everyone knows that experience, right? Where, you know, you go for a drive, maybe it's late at night, you're driving home from a party or something. It's like 11 o'clock, and you kind of have a little brain switch, and then all of a sudden you're pulling in the driveway, and you've gone into autopilot, right? And the subconscious is a beautiful thing, but we need to have that safety net in our subconscious to be able to have a good, safe minimum, right? So that was able to, I did have, you know, a lot of a big breadth of skills to use in those moments, because I did get a little bit fatigued. But how I was able to keep myself going through those moments is each lap, it was 162 laps. Each lap was a third of a mile, and every lap I'd go around, and I'm trying to hit these marks on the road every time with the tires. So when people go out on the road, they just need to stay in their lane. They switch off, they get on their phone, whatever. It's very automatic and autopilot, right? But what I do as a stunt driver is try and refine my skills so much that even when I'm driving around, if I pull up to a stop sign or a stoplight, I'll try and pull up right on the line and get that level of precision every time. It's not just accidental, it's deliberate. And so I was trying to do that deliberately every time. Every time I'd go around, I'd have these little marks and trying to keep the perfection going and just really, really focus on it, you know, so that energy throughout the day is deliberate, it's focused, it's not accidental. And I think that helped me keep awake and focused, so mentally focused for those 4 hours. And I think that's another metaphor that I want to throw in there as well. There's a beautiful story there. Yeah,
It is being intentional about how you want to drive your life, right? So many people just go through life going through the moves, but being intentional about where you want to stop, where you want to go, and be very meticulous about it. It's a way that, and I admire stuntmen so much, because your job has to be, your work has to be very precise, right?
Yeah.
Very intentional. Otherwise, people will get hurt. So we should learn from your line of work that we should be intentional about our life and what we want to do with our lives, because, we can get hurt. And how we get hurt by not being intentional about life is getting older without accomplishing our dreams, getting older and getting bitter at the same time because we didn't end up where we wanted to end up. So
that's right.
I really like this metaphor of how you can be so precise and intentional and, meticulous about every step of the way, so we can learn from that as
Absolutely.
well.
And it's
And
funny you
one
mentioned
other
about,
lesson is about your purpose, why you did that, right? There was a why behind all that. Uh,
yeah, yeah,
so there was a purpose, a bigger purpose for you to do that.
the Distracted Driving Awareness Month. Yeah. And that was the gift to the community. And the gift that now I'm sort of taking in hindsight that I never even realized was just the power of how much we need to focus and how much we can focus. And the gifts that keeping our deliberate focus throughout the day can give us, and where we can go with that is quite magical. And it's interesting you mentioned, Fabio, about being deliberate on set. I think a lot of people think that stuntmen are just, well, here, hold my beer and, just jump and hope for the best and I'll throw myself into it and all that kind of stuff. And look, there's a little bit of gung ho bravado that you need to have the confidence to be able to do something like that. But it really is a well choreographed ballet, 99% of the time. There's times when you say, yeah, I'll give it a go, but that's when you're playing low level stuff and it's very low risk at that point because you're very comfortable with what you do. But when you bring multiple people, there's moving parts, fire, animals, vehicles, weapons, whatever it might be, you need to have a lot of precision, a lot of communication. You got to bring a lot of that to the party. And it looks like it's crazy and chaotic and out of control on the movies that you see once it's edited and all the music and everything. But on the day, you need to be able to rinse and repeat that several times and tweak things to get the shot that you want. So it's a lot more deliberate than what people think. Yeah.
Yeah. And now, so you have worked in TV and movie as a stuntman and helping other people to get everything right with precision, intention, and so on. And now you have a different mission, right? Now you are a professional speaker or have been for a while now. So share with us, what was the main motivation for you to switch careers and now, travel, all over the world, helping people understand the main lessons that you have learned throughout your life?
Yeah. Yeah. So I think I started out being somewhat a little bit bored in the country town that I was in, and I took solace in movies and TV shows for an escapism and just to motivate me and excite me and get me inspired about life and want to travel and do all these different things. Growing up in a small country town, it's a very very much a blank canvas to start with, and the movies were my paint, to visualize where I might want to go.
Mhm.
Um, and I've now mobilized my values and intentions away from just motivating and exciting people with things like action films and TV shows and that kind of artwork, but moving more into a more mindful, question-based approach of like, okay, once you get that motivation, now what? What's going on for you? What do you want to do? And I love the idea that once you have that motor inside you, you need a map and a compass, metaphorically speaking, and you need to clean the car up, and then like let's get this car ready and let's do something with it. So I love working with people who are maybe they're in their 20s, 30s, 40s, whatever. They've had a small or large career, and then they're like, okay, well, what's next? What's this other thing? And I love chipping away and pulling apart at the internal, again, car metaphors. I love, you'll notice the mechanics that are going on inside people to see,
Mhm.
well, hang on, that thing you said there, what about if we took that skill and maybe there's another career there, help them get some more skills, remove some fears and some procrastinations and perfectionisms they might have, imposter syndrome, things like that, and then say, all right, let's get out there and have more meaning, more money, and more purpose, and feel like we're more fulfilled because of that, because we're living more congruently, authentically, and serving more people. So I do that with youth. I have a talk coming up very soon where I'm sharing with them my freelance entrepreneurial path that I've taken, and I love sharing that message and just giving people more opportunities. I'm not trying to sell the career of being a stuntman, but there is a lot of messages there about just finding your own path. I've had so many different jobs, and I've always used my own compass to get me through, and I think that's a beautiful message to give kids. But then there's also the corporate groups that I love to work with, Fabio, which I think a lot of people love their job, some people don't, but I do know a lot of people, when you do your same job every day, 9 to 5, you get stuck in a routine. And so I love getting in there and tweaking with things, using Lego for some of the corporate groups that I do, to get these adults back interested in play and creativity and imagination and connection. Um, and get back to what it was that they were excited about as a kid and bring some more of that and keep breaking the rules and, you know, pulling things apart and tinkering with the mechanics that they had going on inside in their teams, challenge communication, that sort of thing. I don't really go in with specific ideas usually about, you know, I'm awesome and you can be awesome too if you just follow these 3 steps. But I do love poking at things and asking questions and challenging things so they can bring it out within themselves. And that's really beautiful for me. To see someone get excited is magic, but to see someone have an aha moment where their consciousness pops open, that's really beautiful. And that's, you know, it's good to get paid money, but that's the currency that I strive for is, you know, how many aha moments can I get in a workshop or a session? And that's where I'm looking to go now. Yeah.
So we can think that we can say that when you go into a corporate event and you are working with those people, you are kind of guiding them through the process of getting rid of the um, non-exciting, boring things and getting into mindset of exercising their courage, and they're willing to try new things, to explore new dimensions and find that excitement again. So they, at the end, they're more enthusiastic about their jobs. They're more excited about their jobs. And of course, they will produce more interesting things because of that.
That's right. Yeah. And yeah, absolutely. And look, some of these legacy companies that have been around for 30, 50, 100 years, you know, they're blue chip companies. They're on the stock exchange because they're huge and they're doing a lot of things right. But it's important, I think, individually in teams to keep getting in there and just cracking things open and just keeping that fresh. You know, you do anything, whether it's as an individual or as a corporation, as a team, as a family, you start settling, you know, and they say that the first half of a man's life is to create habits for the second half. I like to mess with that and just keep cracking that egg a little bit more before it hardens again and keep opening things up. And again, it's not about me being right or telling people, oh, you're bored or you're doing it wrong, but just, okay, what's in that? You know, and not just functionally, how can we do it better, but how can we listen more? How can we love more? And again, not that I think that they should or anything like that, but just bring something to them that might spark on something, you know. So
just creating the environment for them to explore that possibility, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And look, coming back to individuals again, one of the programs that I teach and I share with people, Fabio, is a thing called momentum mastery. And you know, a lot of people we plateau, we make some money or we have a relationship, and then something changes and we realize, okay, I got to get out of my comfort zone again, and then we plateau again, and we kind of go like that. But what I teach with this momentum mastery program is we overcome one fear a day for a month. And it's this idea of very simple, basic fear. Maybe it's talking to a stranger, maybe it's having a cold shower, trying a new food. And you think, oh, that's kind of simple. It's kind of lame even. But do that every day. And you start looking for these little challenges and you start flexing not just the mental muscle or the physical muscle, but this muscle to overcome fears. And you start seeking these new opportunities every day and you start accelerating more progressively rather than, oh, you know, I'm unhealthy, I got to get fit. Oh, I don't have any relationships, I just had a breakup, I got to get more relationships and get out of my comfort zone. So it gets people on a better trajectory for growth in their life, and just to keep getting more uncomfortable. You know, I just think there's a really beautiful lesson in there, and it's an amazing strategy. I've had a lot of success with my clients with that. Yeah, it's really feels good to be able to offer that to people. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you with that. You know, I really believe the whole meaning for life is evolution. So if you're not evolving, right? So
Absolutely.
we always need to be reminding ourselves, yeah, I need to go for another challenge. So I keep evolving, growing, challenging myself. And of course, this is what also creates more excitement about life and more happiness, right? Because happiness is about discovery, it's about learning, growing, and finding new things and having this spicy, sweet taste of discovering something new. So
Yeah.
I really admire
Yep.
what you're doing, man. It's so
Thank you.
important. I believe not only you will generate or you are already generating more productivity for the companies and more profit, you are generating happier human beings as well, for sure. For sure,
You know,
right?
it's a beautiful thing when you get to see somebody just light up, you know, You
Yeah.
don't know what you don't know. And when we have bad days in life, we think that the bad days are going to be here forever. When we have a great day, we think we're heroes and that the good times are going to be here forever as well. But just to crack people out of that and just get a bit of perspective on themselves, or what they're doing, their actions, their interactions with people, it's absolutely magic. Yeah, and you know that you're a public speaker. I'm speaking your language, I'm sure, when I talk about the aha
Yeah,
moments when people, and you see people start writing down frantically what
yeah,
they
yeah,
just
it's
learned.
beautiful. It's beautiful.
It's such a good experience. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's so fulfilling. It's amazing. It's amazing when we really connect with somebody and they go like, "Oh my God!" Right? They keep,
Yeah.
writing down and their eyes go like, "Oh," and sometimes they say,
Yep.
"Oh God, yeah." They keep saying, and
Yep.
you are helping them right there. This is
And
beautiful.
you watch it, sometimes you watch it ripple through the audience too. So the
Yeah, yeah.
physical, people grabbing their stuff because they didn't have their notebook out and they got to write something down. It's a magical experience. And I think you agree with this, Fabio, as well. It's not, I'm not the hero, I'm not the guru when I say something or when I ask a question, but just to throw something out there. It's a question, it's a statement, and then they get to take it and run with it. It's a magical thing. And you mentioned about evolution. The more we can send atoms out into the universe to fire off and hit things and bounce off and start a chain reaction, ideas and words and music and whatever it might be, as an artist or a performer or a public speaker. I think.
I lost you. I lost your sound. Yeah, you go back. You're back now. No, you're not.
Back again. There we
Now
go.
you are. Now you are.
There we go. Just had a call come through. I got to get rid of that. Yeah, it's an absolutely magical currency that, I think we all owe it to ourselves, not just us as public speakers, but anyone who's got any kind of inkling to become a healer, a coach, any kind of service provider. And I think we all are healers and coaches. You think of even a hairstylist. What do? 90% of their job is talking to their clients and chatting about their day. And I've heard that from barbers and different people. Their job is one thing, but we're all kind of offering a therapy to different people. And that's the other thing that I try and offer. It's like, okay, that's your job, but what lights you up? Because what makes the money is not what makes us connect and what gives us a beautiful gift of living under the surface. Yeah.
Please share with us three main values you have guiding your life.
Mm, three main values. I think it is, and it shuffles every day. But I take on something, and then something else comes in, and then something else comes in. Right now, and I have this on my email as well. So I'll go with that because I think it's something I definitely live by. It's be conscious, learn often, live deliberately. And the more you can be present, the more you can live from the present moment and you're not worried about good or bad in the future or good or bad in the past. The more you can live from the present, the more you are in control and you're steering that ship. Learning often, again, it's like what we're talking about. How can I soak up more? And it's not a mental information grab, like another degree. It's just about exposure, traveling, meeting people, that kind of thing. Because
Yes.
all those experiences wash over us and land. um, it's nice to have more degrees and more certificates and whatever else, but stories, stories are what really teach us, I think, and what we can teach others with. And the last one is my favorite in particular right now. It's living deliberately, and just really challenging myself every day to live deliberately. And I'm trying as much as I can to, if it's not on my to-do list, if it's not on my calendar, and if it's not on my habit tracker, I don't do it. And that gives me something to focus on every single day,
Yeah.
because I myself, I've been addicted to computer games, social media. Um, and you think, well, social media ain't that bad. Netflix, it's not that bad. Bit of computer games here and there. For me, it can be very distracting. So I would always, come home from work and, I'll just let me pull my phone out for a little bit. 2 hours go by, 3 hours go by, and now I'm in the zone and I can't get out of it. I got this momentum where I'm focused on the computer
Yeah.
game. And I think back to my teenage years, it's like I used to play for 10, 12, 14, 16 hours a day some days. And it's not healthy. There's a little bit's okay, but everything in moderation, right? So living deliberately for me was a way to get out of that. And again, if I put it on my habit tracker or my calendar or my to-do list, when I get home, if nothing's on the calendar, I say, okay, what are some tasks I can do that need to be done for my business, my personal life, whatever? Cool.
Mhm.
Tick a few of those off and then go through my habit tracker. Okay. Can I do some exercise? Can I take a shower? Just put that in, okay. And again, it seems simple, like, oh, well, what do you mean you're not showering every day, Brett? No, but it keeps me deliberate. It keeps me deliberate. And it's so good because
Yeah,
again, I get this dopamine hit that I used to get from computer games to tick off this little thing
yeah,
on my habit tracker. Making sure I'm flossing every day, reading so much every day, meditating, taking my supplements, whatever it might be, writing for 30 minutes every day. I've got a few self-coaching practices that I use every day. And I've also got, my evening questions, gratitude. What did I learn today? What am I still getting challenged with? Tasks for tomorrow, that kind of thing. And the more I can tick off, again, it keeps me so present and focused, Fabio, to have those. It's
yeah.
magic. So yeah, yeah,
No,
yeah.
yeah, this is about mindfulness, right? And so many people uh, keep searching for a mindfulness book or video or course. And you're just saying, if you live deliberately, if you just focus on little things that they are important to your life, but so focus and and control this present time, you are living mindfulness. And of course, you
Yep.
feel great about yourself because you feel in control of your life, right? So little
Mm-hmm,
things that make a big difference in how we feel by the end of the day. And of course,
mm-hmm.
how fast we progress towards our most important goals. Most people never achieve their goals just because they get distracted.
Yeah. Or they
If
give
they
up.
were
They try it
focused,
once
yeah,
and it didn't work.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
If they were focused and really determined to achieve that thing, they would
Mm-hmm.
create the habits to do that. And
Yeah.
little things can make a big difference in our lives. So I really commend you for that. And I hope everybody
Thank
watching
you.
notes and
Mm-hmm.
really pay attention because things that sometimes sound simple are really critical to our success and
Yeah.
happiness. So please, everybody watching, pay attention, take notes, go back, replay this so you can grab those golden nuggets that we are releasing here with Brett.
Yeah. And I
Now,
love real quick, I love what you say about simplicity because I think, I have a saying that life is not easy because it doesn't feel easy, but it is very simple. And some days it's just a case of just showing up, the world record, right? So 162 laps. If I had done 5, 10, 20, it wouldn't have been a world record, but just doing one more, one more, one more, that's all it takes. And that is really the definition of success is just doing one more, showing up every day, making it happen. Yeah.
perfect, perfect, perfect. Beautiful. Now, please share with us your next goals, right? So you probably have dreams, you have visions, things that you want to accomplish in life in the near future, whatever. So please share with us the most important things that you envision for yourself in the next 5 or 10 years.
What I want to get more into, Fabio, is I want to take my active mindfulness program and momentum mastery program and really create something that's a bit more of a movement in that way.
Mm,
The momentum mastery I mentioned, the active mindfulness and active meditation programs that I have, it's about making mindfulness and meditation more accessible for people, and boiling it down. A lot of people get distracted when they sit there and meditate. Okay, I got to sit here and meditate. Okay, and I think a lot of people struggle with that. And I've had a lot of success working with disadvantaged youth who are hyperactive, traumatized in prison, that kind of thing. Corporate people who are too old to meditate, by bringing this practice in, making it congruent for them, there's a lot of magic there. And yeah, I want to take that to the masses a lot more, And beyond that, I really want to keep my film stuff going. Stunts is still fun. I still do it. But, to have more meaning through the productions that I work on, I'd love to create more short stories, mini movies, short films, whatever they might be. That maybe they're animated or maybe they're just very simple in a message. And I think everyone has a movie that I call a reflective movie or an empty cup movie that they like to watch once a year, and it's a different movie every year. For me,
yeah.
it's the Matrix trilogy. You watch it every year, you see something different because it's a great parable. It's a great story, kind of like Star Wars. There's this ancient hero's journey through that we can see something different in every time. And I want to create movies like that, that people, it's not just excitement and a dopamine hit and a rush, but it really makes them think and challenges them, you know, and they can watch it once a year for the rest of their life, and they'll see a different movie every time because they're a different person every time. And that's what I want to get into, is how can I translate that work that we do as a coach and a public speaker and the questions that we ask, and put it into a movie and an art form that makes people go inward and explore themselves. Yeah.
Well, count me in. I want to be part of one of those.
Let's do that. That'd be great. Yeah.
Oh my God, that would be great. All right. Now I have a challenge for you. You like to challenge yourself? I'm going to
I
challenge you.
do. I'll say
All
yes
right.
before I even know what it is. Let's go.
Let's say you are in front of a huge audience, like 50,000 people, right? And also there's a camera in front of you broadcasting your message to 8 billion people. Almost everybody, right? Let's say
Wow.
5 billion people, 5 billion people as well.
Yeah.
So 50,000 there in a stadium with you, and 5 billion people watching you, right? And you have only 1 minute to say something truly meaningful that could at least put everybody watching you in this reflection state of mind. Oh, I need to think about that. Right? So what would you say? And I'm going to time you. What would you say in 1 minute to
So do you want me
all?
to say it like I would say it, or do you want me to talk about it like the idea?
No, like you would say it, like you would say it.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
are
This
you
is a
ready?
good challenge. Okay.
Improv, are you ready? So
Go for it.
go.
Isn't it interesting? Here I am. I've got this one moment in front of you guys. There's thousands of people here right now and billions of people watching me at home. And I have 1 minute and one shot not to mess this thing up. And yet here I am standing in my essence, and I have all these feelings inside me: anxieties, fears, imposter syndrome, voices in my head saying, don't mess this up. That's kind of scary, isn't it? Everyone's had that experience, right? You guys know what I'm talking about. But what can I do to impress you guys? All I can do is just show up and live from the present moment. So here I am standing in front of you, reminding you that in this moment, I'm not perfect. And I have all sorts of crazy stuff going inside me. And my question to you is, what could you do with your next present moment, living with all your good and all your bad, and just show up as you are to get the job done and move one step closer to your goals? How could you do that?
Precise 1 minute. That was very
Crushed
good,
it.
my friend. That was very
Crushed it.
good.
Awesome.
Oh my God. I love that. You really connected to everybody and made everybody think about their own reactions, how they would react to a situation like this. You put everybody in your shoes for a moment, and you put yourself in their shoes for a moment, and you close with a very powerful question. I
Mm-hmm.
love that.
Yeah.
Approved.
Yeah.
Approved. Approved.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
That's great. No, I love there's a two things in there that shows perhaps people who I am. Is I don't necessarily like to be the martyr, but I do like to commentate what's going on for me, because I think people think that, you know, the stuntman or the public speaker, they've got all their stuff together. And I've never asked you, Fabio, but do you still get that fear of public speaking at any point up until talks? Do you get that little moment before or days
So
before? Like, what's that like
I
for you?
got excited because I have worked in a different meaning for fear, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I use fear as
Sure,
an
yep.
acronym. Now, fear for me is fabulous energy to achieve results.
Oh, I love it.
Fabulous
Love it.
energy to achieve results. So for me, when I
Yep.
feel fear, I transform that fear into energy, right?
Love it. Yep.
So that's how I deal with my, well, if I got it too excited or too anxious about something, I remember fear is fabulous energy to achieve results. So let's do it. And so I
Beautiful.
don't feel nervous anymore. I don't feel fear anymore. I feel this energy going through my body that gives me the sense of, you know, I'm here to serve, I'm here to help, I'm here to add value. So I'm not here
Mm-hmm.
to prove myself. I'm not here to be idolatrated. I'm not here to get standing ovation. I'm not here to, for me, I think I'm here to help my audience achieve results. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't care how they're gonna judge me. because I'm here to serve and to add value. So that's how I think.
I love that. And you kind of took the words out of my mouth about how you navigate that. And I think there's a beautiful message in, the people on stage don't have it all figured out, but you have something that you work with and it's a tool and you get the job done. Maybe it takes a little while, maybe it happens better some days more than others.
Yeah.
But I think there's a beautiful commentary to that. And I love commentating that to other people. Like, okay, you got depression right now. What does it feel like? What's going on for you? Let's dive deep and have a look at that. And then the second part is, I don't have the answers. I think a lot of us, we're constantly looking on YouTube for this, how to overcome depression, how to overcome fears, blah, blah, blah. And we keep looking externally for the answers. But what about we start looking more inward, and not through statements, but through questions and diving deep? And that's kind of to summarize my own little 1 minute there. That's the two parts, that the commentary and the questioning. And I love that. That's kind of my modality. Yeah.
Yeah, as you said, we're not perfect. We have our own struggles as professional speakers. So I found a way to overcome my fear. I just gave it a different meaning, right? So I found a tool, a method to overcome my fear and transform it into something good. And also, I think I don't need to have all the answers, right? I need to ask questions to myself and to my audience. Sometimes I go in front of a huge audience, like 5,000 people, and I was not really aware of all the information about the audience. Somebody didn't give me the information I asked for, let's say, right? So I'm in front of 5,000 people. I don't really know the audience. So what do I do, right? Of course, I feel a little anxious. Are they going to like, right, what I'm going to share? So what I do is, okay, what is fear? Fabulous energy to achieve results. How can I achieve results with that audience that I don't know very well? I go and I ask questions. Listen, I come to you today. I want to touch 3 points, this, and that. Which one do you believe is the most important to you? I ask the audience. And then they give me, the path. And I go,
Yeah.
so I really use this connection with other human beings to help me solve my own doubts and problems and struggles, so I can better serve the audience by giving them a voice in my speeches as well. So, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's
And that comes
fantastic.
from
Yeah.
accepting. That comes, as you said, from accepting I'm not perfect. I'm not a master. I don't have all the answers. I don't know everything, and I need help. And sometimes I get help from the audience, and we have a wonderful time together just because I was humble enough to ask them, what do you want me to address first, or only, or the only thing you want me to address today? Something like that.
And there's some magic there, Fabio, absolutely. And I love that. And what I heard you say was, some people think public speaking is about, oh, I've got to recite my speech and I've got to get it word perfect and got to practice it and get it perfect. Me and you were just shooting from the cuff right now, and I've got stories that I've told plenty of times, of course. And the better I get, the more I can pack them into different shapes and sizes and messages. But they're all just tools that I can drop in, and like you're saying. But the first thing is how can I connect with the audience? Because you can't just get up there and dump all your stuff. You have to listen, and you have to work. I saw a comedian called Jimmy Carr recently on stage, and it was just such a beautiful thing to see him. He's not a public speaker, but he's a comedian, and he's very dark sometimes. And he was able to tune his humor to the audience that was there on the night, and it was such a beautiful thing to see him just play with the jokes and get the right laughs from the audience. I think as public speakers, what I heard you say, Fabio, is you absolutely do that, just listening to people and tuning in. Yeah, it's a gift. It's quite beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah. Connection is the most important thing. Without connection, there's no communication, right? So I really pray. So we are already talking about important lessons that we have learned, right? So I would like you to share with our audience here, what are the key 3 lessons you have learned throughout your life that you would love everybody to get?
I think the first one is have a vision. You've got to hold a vision. The vision's going to change. I've always had 50 and 100-year goals, and I know where I'm going to end up, kind of thing. And it morphs and changes. Sometimes it's a feeling, sometimes it's a vision itself. But I know where I'm going, and that's always kind of come easy to me. But sometimes I've doubted that, and sometimes that, oh no, that stuntman thing, I've been told I'm not good or whatever, or public speaking's tough, and we give up. But the vision stays here and here, and we have to stay connected to that. This double decker bus is actually a beautiful thing because one of the first vision boards I ever set was the vision board. I took a picture of a double decker bus just like this off the internet, and within 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I think it was, the universe conspired, and I actually ended up driving that double decker bus, not one like it, but that double decker bus. And I got goosebumps thinking about it now. And it's just interesting how when you set it so strongly, um, I just am blown away by, it could have been any bus. It could have, like, yeah, I want to drive a bus. Oh, here's a bus. Cool. But just something happened and I found the right company in Melbourne, didn't even know. And then there's that double decker bus. And so I bought this a couple of years ago, even though the bus that I drove was like 10 or 15 years ago. But I just saw that this was a Lego set, and I'm like, I gotta buy that to remind myself of the experience of driving the bus, but also reminding me of the power of the vision board. And if you can keep that vision and hold the vision, there's magic that comes out of that, absolutely. And whether it's having a vision board in your room or by your desk, talking with friends about your vision, sharing it with them so they can keep you accountable. There's magic in having a vision. The second thing I'll say is persisting. It's not going to be easy, but again, like I mentioned, I think it is very simple to just show up every day. And if all you do is get out of bed one day because you're sick, or you got depression, or you're so anxious, or you hate yourself, or whatever, if you get out of bed, that's a win some days, and you got to pat yourself on the back for that. If you can do anything more than that, show up in some way, make one phone call, ask for something, offer something, just do something. You didn't become the awesome public speaker that you are right now because of just one talk. You became that speaker because of the hundreds of talks that you've done, and you'll be even better in future, and it'll find its own path. And it's kind of malleable. It's very fluid, the journey that we're on, and that chase of the vision with the actions that we take. But the chase is every day, and we have to show up, And so there's the two things there: vision and persistence, just taking one step every day. And then the third thing I'll say, I think the message I want to leave people with is it's about being present. It's about living deliberately, just like what I was saying. If you can stay present to yourself and bring the past and the future all in one moment and say, okay, what have I got here? Let's do this. And not get too excited or depressed or, hate yourself, hate other people. Oh, I'm guilty for this, or I'm going to be amazing, or whatever. Just the work is in the present moment, and don't get distracted by different things in your mind or externally or whatever, because your work is right here and now. And staying present to whatever that work is, there's magic in that as well. So I think that's my three. Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
super precious. Thank you for sharing that with us. And now, my friend, so many things we have talked about. Maybe people are just right now watching live now or later. They're gonna go like, okay, so many things. How should I start? So I always ask my guests to give my audience like 2 or 3 action steps they can take now, right after watching this, to start getting better results in their lives, right? So even if they don't want to work with us, you or me, they want to try by themselves. What would be their first 2 or 3 action steps they could take to start getting better results for their lives?
I would
Small
say,
steps. They can be small steps.
yeah. No, and simple is best. I love simple. And I think that, again, it sounds simple. It's so simple that it's a bit lame almost, that people, oh, that's easy, whatever. But we still don't do it. And I say we because I forget that as well. But I think this first one is really easy to do. And it's a case of going for a walk and just being able to sit with yourself or walk with yourself, go find a park bench to sit on, and challenge yourself to sit there without your phone for 20 minutes, half an hour, an hour, and watch your thoughts just change. It'll be, oh, this is dumb or whatever. All the voices come up. The self-critical, being critical of yourself. And then things start to dissipate. Even if you're not meditating, just watching those thoughts change and slowly disappear is quite magic. And I find answers will come to me quite well when you create the space. But we have to create the space and de-stimulate. Yeah. I think the second tool I'd love to share with people is like what I mentioned. You know, if you want to reach out to me, I'm happy to run people through this. The Momentum Mastery program I have for that reason. But you don't need me to just overcome a little fear or get yourself out of your comfort zone. So I'd challenge people to go and find something that scares them. Maybe it's take a cold shower. Maybe it's try a new food. Maybe it's compliment a stranger. So often we don't talk to strangers anymore because of the culture that we live in, you know, and I think we need to get back to a bit of that more connection, connection to other people and connection to ourselves. So what else can we be doing to get ourselves out of our comfort zone? You know, have a think about that. You know, if you give a little bit of money to a homeless person or to a charity, why not double it? See what that does for you. Oh, no, I can't afford $20, but you can afford 10. Why can't you afford 20? Challenge yourself and sit with that. There's a lot of magic in those moments. And listening to what happens, ask yourself why, and then go into that a little bit more and follow your way through. Because again, coming full circle, we get in the habits of we get in the habit of having our habits and programs, and we get stuck in them, and we don't push and challenge and question and really turn the mirror on ourselves often enough. So I think there's a couple of beautiful gems there for people, and I hope that's some value to people. Yeah.
Yeah, it's super valuable. Those two action steps, you know, being able to sit with yourself without your phone. This is so simple and so powerful. And at the same time, keep challenging yourself to do things better than you did yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Those two things combined will help us grow and see things in a different lenses. And I really like those action steps. I want to thank you for that. And of course, if people want to get in contact with you, what is the best way for them to get in contact with you?
They can find me on LinkedIn, or they can search for me on my website, a stuntmansguide.com, a stuntmansguide.com. I'm sure you'll throw it in the show notes or whatever.
Yeah.
And I've got coaching and public speaking and different things there. I'm working on my blog and more products and services for people. And I just love the opportunity to work with people who are excited, a little bit scared, a little bit excited. You know, it's that same kind of energy. But they want to dive deeper and they need some kind of guide or some kind of system to take them through the work that they want to do. And I just get excited by that. So I'd love to work with people. Yeah. Yeah.
I will put underneath the video in the description all the links people can use to get in contact with you, the LinkedIn, your sites. All right. So people, if they really want to get serious and get things done and change their lives and they need expert help to do it, they can reach out to you for sure. And now the final challenge for you. The final challenge, I promise.
More challenges. Challenge. Beautiful.
Just one more, because I know you like them. The final challenge. You have to choose just one word to end this interview. One word that you believe can really help people put everything that you said together in one thing and glue everything with this one word.
My word is feel.
Feel? Like feel? Beautiful.
I was going to say just feel. It's like just do it, but it's just feel, but you wouldn't let me have the first one. So it's feel. Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay. Yeah. Brett, I want to thank you so much for being here today. You are really a fabulous human being, a fabulous guest for my show. And ladies and gentlemen, this is Fabulous with Fabio, the talk show that reveals how fabulous we can be as human beings. And I always bring fabulous people to the show. This is raw, no editing, no cutting, no post-production. This is raw and real as life is. And I only bring to the show people who can handle this. If you think you can handle this, if you think you can add value to our audience, go to fabulouswithfabio.com, fabulouswithfabio.com, and see how you can be part of the show if you feel like it, okay? And again, we want to thank Brett Solomano for being here today, for adding so much value to everybody here. And remember, you can watch this interview in my YouTube channel, Fabulous Fabio Marques 007, Fabio Marques 007. You can go to Fabulous with Fabio. And also you can listen to this interview later in our podcast, Powerful Insights for Business. So everybody, be present, be real, do what you love, and everything will fall into place and your life will be wonderful. Again, Brett, thank you so much. Stay. I'm going to talk to you after this is gone. Just hold on, Brett. Let's say hello.
Absolutely.
Bye to everybody. Bye, everybody. See you next time.
Thank you, Fabio.